Looking for ways to improve your clinical outcomes with clients? In today's episode, I share 3 things you can start doing now that are bound to improve your skills as a therapist and lead to better results with clients. Thanks so much for listening.
Hey, Christian therapist, are you craving a counseling career that aligns with your faith and actually supports your well being? Welcome to the Prosperous Christian Therapist Podcast. I'm Kimberly Van Hooser, Christian therapist, private practice owner, and business coach for mental health professionals like you. In this podcast, you'll get practical strategies and faith led guidance to help you build a thriving private practice, one that serves your clients well and makes an impact for the kingdom of God. So, what are you waiting for? Grab your notebook and join me for today's episode.
Welcome back to the Prosperous Christian Therapist Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Van Hooser. Thanks so much for listening today. If you are not part of my insider email list, make sure you check out the show notes below so you can get signed up. Every single week, I send out a weekly newsletter that includes some faith-led encouragement for Christian clinicians. I also keep you up to date on any special offers I'm doing or coaching groups that I'll be starting. And you'll also receive a link to my latest podcast episode so you never miss an episode. If you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I do offer one-on-one private practice coaching and consulting. So if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, you can check out the show description as well for the way to sign up for that. In today's episode, I'll be sharing 3 things you can do to improve your clinical outcomes with clients. And hopefully that is something that we are all desiring, is to be the best clinician we can be for our clients and to see our clients get better. As a coach, I'm usually receiving inquiries from my coaching clients about how to improve their marketing skills, how to increase the number of referrals they are receiving. And while there's a lot of external things that we can do to focus on marketing or building referral networks, it's important to remember that our skill set as a therapist is important. We want to be marketing a high quality product to people, and that's going to ensure that we will continue to receive referrals, that we will get more clients. So it can be easy to neglect our own clinical development sometimes when we're focused on the business aspect of it, and we don't want to neglect that. Now, it's important to keep a few things in mind as you're listening to this episode. For one, you are never done learning, and that is okay. So, I don't want you to walk away from this episode feeling like there's all these trainings that you need to go complete or things you need to start doing before you can start your private practice. What I'd rather you take away is that you want to make sure you're still honing your skills and growing as a therapist at the same time that you're marketing your business. Also, it's important to remember that God can and will use you no matter what stage you are in as a therapist. So, when you're brand new, maybe you're still in school right now, God can still use you. You still have skills and abilities that He's given you to serve the people and the clients that are coming to you. So, trust Him as you are going through the process, but continue to want to learn and grow and improve your skills as a therapist. That's one of the beauties of our career and our job, is we get better with experience and with time. So in this episode, I'm going to give you 3 specific things that you can start doing that will improve your skills as a therapist. And eventually that's going to lead to an increase in your clientele in your private practice, because people are going to want to refer to you if they know that you're a good therapist. And your clients are going to pass on your information to others because they feel like they're getting good results. So, one thing that I think is so important to make sure that you do that's going to lead to improvement in your own clinical skills as a therapist is to regularly consult or discuss with other therapists. This could look like being part of a formal consultation group. This could also look like just grabbing coffee with your friend who is also a therapist and getting their insight and feedback into how they would handle certain things that is on your caseload right now, or learning about how they're doing work with clients. As a therapist, especially if you're in your own private practice, it can be so easy to become isolated in the work that we do. If you are still under supervision or if you're working in a group practice, it's a lot easier to have those opportunities to talk about what's going on in your caseload and to learn from other therapists. So if you've been in private practice for a little while now, maybe you're fully licensed, so you don't have that legal requirement to get supervision. I'd really encourage you to make sure that you're making this a regular practice to seek out wisdom and counsel from other professional colleagues. I've noticed for myself in my journey of private practice that sometimes consultation doesn't come easily. It's something I've really had to seek out and be intentional about. And then even noticing where pride can hold me back from this, where I'm kind of afraid to talk to other professionals about what I'm doing because I don't want them to see me as incapable or underqualified or to think, wow, like I thought Kimberly was a better therapist than she actually is. She's struggling with this. She must not be very good. So be mindful if you are having any areas of fear of vulnerability with professional colleagues, if you have any pride, and be willing to let go of that. We can't be afraid of being stupid or looking stupid if we want to continue to grow and improve. And honestly, whenever I'm able to recognize my pride and let go of it, and then to open up with other therapist colleagues, I gain so much from it. So not only do I benefit, but then my clients are also able to benefit. So maybe take a moment and pause this episode. Take time to think about who you can reach out to for consultation, whether that be joining a consultation group or if you just have some good colleagues who are also therapists that it might be fun to touch base with and get their insight on some cases that you have right now. The next thing I want you to do is to pay attention to client feedback. So just notice how clients might be responding to certain things that you might be doing in your practice. This doesn't apply just to the actual therapy that you're doing, but how did the clients respond when you did a phone consultation with them? Are you getting any sort of information that shows that maybe you need to make some tweaks or changes in your processes? Are they saying things like, it was really hard and confusing to find your office? Or I felt like you rushed me in our phone consultation. I had so much more I wanted to say. So just start to pay attention to those little clues and cues that you're receiving from clients. I also think that there's a way to ask for feedback from your clients that can still be ethical and it will ultimately benefit them as well as yourself. This can be a little bit scary sometimes, but I think it's really important to check in with your clients about how they're experiencing the process of therapy. Make it a part of your sessions to check in and say, how is the process of therapy feeling for you? Is there anything that's changed since you started doing therapy? What have you noticed? What has been really helpful for you? Is there anything that has not been helpful or anything that didn't feel good as we've done our therapy together? Sometimes I have been afraid to ask my clients how they are liking therapy or what they're getting from it because I worry that they'll say absolutely nothing or this has been terrible. It's a waste of money. They've never told me that. So actually what this process of asking for feedback or checking in with clients does helps the client identify and think about and put into words what positive changes they've seen. And then it gives them space to process if there has been anything that you've done that didn't feel good for them. It gives that opportunity to heal from that, for you to explain maybe where you were coming from, and then for them to understand why it didn't feel good for them. So don't be afraid to take in client feedback and pay attention to that so you can make some shifts and improvements. That doesn't mean that every single time a client tells you that you're doing something that they don't like, that then you need to change everything for them, but just use your wisdom and discernment. Notice if there's things that you can do that will help your clients overall get better outcomes. I think a lot of times with the idea of getting feedback from clients, we're fearing that they're just going to say negative things that we want to change. But what often happens is we actually hear things that are working well for them. And that gives us insight into what we can increase or can continue to do with our clients that will lead to more positive outcomes. So, paying attention to client feedback is such an important piece of improving your clinical work. Okay, so we've talked about the importance of consulting with other therapists. We've talked about the importance of paying attention to client feedback. The third thing that I'm going to share today as a way to improve your clinical outcomes is to encourage you to continue to invest in continuing education and trainings. Since CEUs are a requirement to renew our license, I think it can be easy just to sometimes do them as a way to check off a box. I know for myself in the past, sometimes I'm just like, what are the cheapest CEUs possible so I can have enough and check it off the list, renew my license, and move on. Sometimes we need to do that. But I think there's so much value in finding those trainings that are actually high quality, that will add to the work we do with our clients, that will maybe even improve or increase our specialty so we can have a better niche I recently did a Smart Step family training with Ron Deal, and that was such a valuable, amazing training that added so much to the work that I'm currently doing. And honestly, got me super excited. It re-inspired me in many ways to show up better as a therapist, to learn even more. So I would encourage you, don't just be cheapo with your CEUs. If you're able to, look for those trainings that are actually going to really increase your skills and enhance your skills as a therapist. Take time to read books and listen to therapy podcasts. Don't neglect your training. I remember several years back, I came across some research that showed that clients were actually getting more breakthrough and better outcomes with less experienced therapists than the therapists who had been licensed for 20 plus years. And I find that a little concerning. And what they were finding is because the therapists who had been licensed for 20 plus years were experiencing more burnout. They were less likely to seek consultation from other therapists. They were less likely to seek out trainings because they had been doing it for so long, they had just gotten comfortable, or they had gotten tired. So I want to say that as an encouragement, first of all, to you new therapists, knowing that you can still do amazing work with clients, even if you are not fully licensed yet, even though you haven't been working for several years as a therapist. And also to encourage you more seasoned therapists to make sure you're still honing your skill. Let your experience be something that is a gift to your clients and not a hindrance. Pay attention to any areas of burnout and make sure you're tending to your needs in that area so it doesn't negatively impact your clients. If you've gotten too busy or focused on other areas of your job or your life, make sure you come back to that place of, am I still learning and growing and improving in my clinical skills so I can offer something of value to my clients? Overall, it's important to remember the better that we get as therapists, that's just going to lead to greater success in our private practice. I think sometimes when we're starting something from the ground up, we're focused on once I get the clients and I have the income, then I can focus that income on my trainings and education. Right now, I need to focus that income on building a website or paying my office rent or the things that we're doing that seem to be a little bit more relevant. But I think sometimes we have things a little backwards. So make sure you're also taking time to increase the quality of the service that you're offering to people. It will be worth the investment. If you are concerned about spending a certain amount of money on a training or you're feeling overwhelmed by which training to take some time and pray over it. Ask the Holy Spirit for some discernment and trust that He's going to provide what is needed for you to be successful in your practice. All right. I hope this episode gave you guys some helpful tips to think about and consider. I do offer one-on-one coaching and consultation. I'm also doing my first summer connection and consultation group, and I will likely do more group coaching experiences in the future as well. The best way to stay informed about whatever groups or services I'm offering is to sign up for my insider newsletter list. You can do that in the show notes below. You can also reach out to me at Kimberly@KimberlyVanHooser.com if you have any questions. Thanks for listening and have a great rest of your day. If you found value in today's episode, would you leave a written review on Apple Podcasts? It helps other faith-led clinicians like you find the show. And don't forget to join my free Facebook community, Start and Grow Your Private Practice as a Christian Therapist, where you'll join other clinicians for encouragement, accountability, and free tips and support. See you there.